All right, hello mathematicians. Today is the first lesson from Unit 1.2. In this section, all we did was talk about the types of angle pairs. Now, when we get a little bit further into the unit, we'll start doing a bit more algebra and stuff with it, but today all we focused on was just knowing the different types. And as you can see, I was pretty excited about this lesson. It's kind of cool to see all the different types of angles and later on how they all connect. It's really awesome. Why is it important to learn these angles? Well, angles are everywhere. It's really important to know the actual proper names and be able to identify them, especially because we're going to do some upper level stuff in the next few days. And then there's a little practice at the end for you to tell if you know it correctly or not. So today is going to be a lot of filling in this really big table, and I'm going to try and explain a little bit more of the angles as we go along to make it easier as well. So first type is the vertical angle pairs. Now, vertical angles are made when you have two lines that cross each other, kind of like these skis, or this pair of scissors, or this pizza. All right, and the angles that are vertical are the ones that are right across from each other, like this. Okay, so like these pizza slices are vertical angles because they're diagonal, they're across from each other, they're opposite. Whatever you want to think of it as, that's the definition for vertical angles. Now I'm just going to undo this whole thing, and then I'll have you guys pause and you can copy stuff down as we go. Down here in this diagram, what I would suggest is maybe putting a star for your different angle types. So I kind of drew this in as a little bit more detailed, but if you want to simplify it, you could even just do this. Draw like a little star for the two angles. I wouldn't draw all of them like I have, because then it's going to get kind of confusing on your paper. So either draw it like I did and put the numbers like I have off to the side, or just pick one angle pair to draw in your picture to make it a little bit simpler. But go ahead, pause here. When you're ready, hit play, and I will move on. I will have moved on to the next angle. All right. Second one is called linear pairs. Now, keyword in linear is line. Okay, they're called a linear pair because when these two lines cross, you get angles that are right next to each other and they make a straight line. Now remember, straight lines are 180 degrees. That's going to come back to help us in a little bit. So again, here's our description. Keywords here are adjacent and supplementary. Adjacent, if you don't remember, means next to. So two angles that are next to each other. Supplementary, think about line. Lines make 180 degrees, therefore supplementary angles are two angles that add to 180 degrees. I forgot to say it in the last slide, but some helpful hints I put for you guys are these key words here. You do not have to write down every single helpful hint. Okay, pick one or two that make most sense for you. So if next to makes sense in describing these angles that I'm talking about, like this guy and this guy, those are linear angles again. Or if the phrase linear means line makes sense for you, I kind of think about it like your next door neighbor. So like the person that's next to your room in your house, or maybe next to your apartment. That's your next door neighbor because they share a wall with you, kind of like these angles. They have this wall in between them. That was kind of poorly drawn. And then this almost hallway coming off the side. With this picture, be careful. Those are actually inaccurately colored. My bad. So, for example, angle 1 and angle 2 would be a linear pair. There's also plenty of other examples here, but I would, again, just pick one. If you want, you can even just simplify it with a star shape. Pause here. When you're ready, press play and we will move on to the next one. All right. So now the next ones that we're going to talk about have to do with this kind of picture that I drew, but I'm going to simplify it just a tiny bit. So when two lines cross a third line, we get what we call a transversal. This is the transversal. And it creates some really interesting angle relationships. Now, alternate exterior, if you think of the word alternate, think of the word opposite. Like if you practice piano on alternate days of the week, it's like opposite days or every other. If you wear alternating colors. You might wear red, then blue, then red, then blue. Okay, you're going opposites. Exterior, think of like the exterior of your house. It's the outside, or like the exterior of your car they talk about. That's the outside of the car. So alternate exterior angles are angles that are on opposite sides, hence the alternate, and they are outside or on the exterior of the parallel lines. So those are my helpful hints with that. So if these are my two lines right here, okay, this is my interior. So 3, 4, 5, 6 can't be these type of angles at all. 1 is on the left-hand side, 8 is on the right-hand side. Therefore, those are alternate exterior angles. And then 2 and 7 are the other pair. Again, if you want to make it really simple, just put a little star like that. If that's a little bit easier to draw instead of all this gobbledygook, it's up to you. Whatever makes most sense to your brain. Pause here, and we'll move on to the remaining angles after you copy. Okay. Alternate interior, very, very similar. I actually kind of think of the hallway up at the front of the building. So if you think about that main hallway that goes right down the middle of the whole school, this is the 100 hall. This is the 300 hall. If any of you guys have ever had to check in with the lovely attendance ladies, they're on the top right-hand corner of that kind of hallway area. And if you look across the hallway and down a little bit further, you'd see the Japanese garden. They are alternate interior angles to each other. What that means is they are on opposite or alternate sides of the hallway, and they're inside or in between the two parallel hallways. So that's what alternate interior angles are. They're angles on opposite sides of the transversal. Remember this picture we talked about? So they're in this space here. Okay, they're on opposite sides and they're inside the parallel lines. So in my picture down here, again, these are my parallel lines. You can almost think about it like a tube or a hallway, this kind of group on the inside. 4 is on the right. 5 is on the left. Those are alternate interior angles, as well as 3 and 6. Okay, so 2 pairs of alternate interior angles there. Go ahead and pause, copy down the information, and then when you're ready, you can move on to the remaining angle pairs. All right, this guy I think is probably one of the most confusing angle types. This is the one that people tend to get wrong more than anything else. For the word corresponding, think about you and your younger sibling maybe. When you're younger, a lot of parents dress their kids up in corresponding outfits, which means that they wear matching outfits. They wear the same little dress or the same little pair of shorts and t-shirt or whatever it might be. Or maybe when your family went on vacation, you guys all wore corresponding t-shirts because you all had the same writing on it. What it means is that they're matching, that they have the same look. So in our transversal, what it means is that they're in matching spots, which is kind of tricky to show. So I'm going to go back to this guy real quick before I let you see the notes part. So let's redraw this quick. All right, so let's say I've got all these numbered. And corresponding, you can kind of think like our spots in our room. Okay, in our classroom, we've got tables of 4. So let's say somebody sits in this seat. This is a group of 4 desks. They're in the top right-hand corner of the group. Well, what person in this group over here is in the same exact spot? Remember I said this is the top right corner. Okay, well, which number's in the top right-hand corner down here? It'd be angle number 6. Okay, so those are corresponding angles because they're in matching spots. Same thing with angle 3 and angle 7, and then 1 and 5, 4 and 8. Those are all corresponding to each other because they're in the same position, just different groups. Okay, and that's the definition for corresponding. Oopsies. Come on, box. It's being very persnickety today. Let's see if I can get rid of it. There we go. Goodness gracious, 10 clicks later. All right, description: two angles that occupy the same relative position at the intersections of the transversal. Some helpful hints: same seats in different classes or matching spots. Again, with this picture down below, please don't draw all of those in. You're going to make your page very messy and confusing. I would pick just one of them, like angle 1 and angle 5, and just draw a little star in your picture there to show where they go. Okay? Pause there, get that information down, press play when you're ready to continue. All right, my goodness, this clicker is so persnickety today. Same side interior is probably the easiest one because the name actually says the description. Same side is pretty self-explanatory. It means things on the same side. Interior, we already learned, means inside. So in our transversal, get rid of that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so interior, we're only going to be using these guys again. All right, same side interior angles. If I have angle 3, angle 5, they're both on the left-hand side and they're both on the inside. That's a set of same side interior. And then 4 and 6 would be my other pair. Okay, so pretty self-explanatory with the title. They're a pair of angles on the same side of the transversal and on the inside of the parallel lines. I'm going to get rid of this phrase though. Think of same side as same room. Kind of looks like in our picture, you can almost think of this as a classroom with these walls kind of going up, and 3 and 5 are like two students in the same room. 4 and 6 are in the same classroom, but they're across the hallway. So that's how you can remember that they're same side interior angles. Okay, again, maybe only write down one of them, so draw a little star kind of like that, or on the other side, to get a good idea of that. All right, so once you've completed all this, you've got your table all filled out. Make sure you asked me or one of the other teachers for a bright note card. We did a quick thing the other day where we did a summary of each angle type. So on your note card, you're going to divide it up into 4 quadrants on each side. And then in each section is going to go an angle pair. So for example, vertical angles would be your first one. And then linear and alternate interior and all that. So you put the title. You put 1 or 2 helpful hints. So some of those things you wrote down earlier, or maybe a phrase that sticks out in your head. And then underneath that, we want you to draw a picture and just do a quick sketch like with the stars, just to show what it looks like. Okay? So those are the things you need to do to get caught up for today. If you need help, please email or ask one of the teachers in your class. Hopefully that helps you get a little bit caught up and make sure that you are prepped and ready for the next section where we actually do some of the math with this stuff. If you're having trouble with this, please ask. The assignment is on the back side of this notes page.